أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد فقد قال أمير المؤمنين عليه الصلاة والسلام أنفاسك خطاك إلى أجلك. Sooner or later, your powers, your desires, and your ambitions will abandon you. Weakness will surround you from every angle. You will become as though you were a child with eyes that can't see properly, with ears that can't hear properly. Your mind will stop responding to you. No matter how hard you try to retrieve something, to recall something, it will fail you. You want to pick up a light-weighted cup of water to drink, you won't be able to pick it because of certain diseases. Your legs will fail you because of arthritis. Death is a reality. Death is inevitable. It is coming to you regardless of what you think about it. You will die one day, regardless, no matter what you would like to think about it. When the moment of death comes, you will be nothing more or but a forgotten and neglected shadow. It is a gloomy picture, of course. No one wants to hear about it. Even if you believe in death or you do not believe in it, if you believe in the hereafter or you choose not to believe in it, when your moment comes, death will descend upon you. It will break into your life without seeking your permission. The angel of death never seeks your permission, never knocks on your door, on the door. It comes in abruptly, suddenly, and without pre-notice. Death terminates all desires. Death destroys all wishes and ambitions. It disperses all gatherings. This is the nature of death. the Commander of Faithful, peace be upon him, said that each time you breathe in or out, that is a step closer to your final destiny, that is a step closer to your death. Each time you exhale and inhale, that is another step closer to death. Death is inevitable. Death is an ineffable experience. You cannot describe it. But it is something that happens in everybody's life. You cannot escape death, no matter who you are, where you are, and what you are. Even if you are in the strongest castle, in the firmest edifice that you have built for yourself, therein death will come and it will overtake you. The clock that is ticking will stop ticking one day. It will stop ticking soon or late. But we have to face death, and we have to look at death in the face. We should not be afraid. If our history, if our deeds, if our record is good, then of course we have to look at it bravely. We should not be afraid. Of course, there are two approaches regarding death. I'm here to explain the rules of death, the issues concerning death, but this I'm going to give a prelude, an introduction, a preface to my discussions, inshallah. This discussion, the discussion concerning death and the rules regarding death, will continue for a few sessions, but just I would like to notify you, to just tell you that insofar as our deeds are good, and so far as our actions are good, we should not be afraid of death. There are actually two approaches, two attitudes towards death. One approach is that death is nothing but destruction. Death is nothing but annihilation. Death is nothing but perdition. It is the end of all hopes, ambitions, and desires. This is an annihilist approach. The atheists and those who do not believe in any divine religions subscribe to this approach. But the second approach is that death is nothing but a passage, a transition from this world into another world. It is nothing but transference from one room, from one space, into another space, into another world. Of course, this is the approach subscribed and advocated by monotheists and those who believe in divine religions. All those who believe in any Abrahamic religions subscribe to this belief and to this approach. The chief of martyrs, the Lord of martyrs, Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ya bani al-kiram, فَمَا الْمَوْتُ إِلَّا قَنْطَرَةٌ تَعْبُرُ بِكُمْ عن البؤوس والضراء إلى الجنان الواسعة. O children of the nobles, death is nothing but a bridge that takes you from the discomforts and from the troubles of this world into a vast and expansive paradise. This is, of course, the Islamic approach. This is the approach, the attitude of Muslims, of a monotheist, whoever he is. He should believe that death is transition. Death is not destruction. Death is not annihilation. Of course, as long as we look at death in the face, as long as we do not keep a distance from death, then of course we can come closer to it. We can understand it. We can try to understand it. There is no doubt that each and every one of us has seen death. We have seen animals dying, we have seen our friends dying, we have seen our relatives dying. Each day we see coffins being carried to the graveyards. We see ambulances carrying dead bodies from place to place, from hospital to graveyards, and from places, and from hospitals to the shrines. They are moved around the tombs. And we see people, relatives, crying over their dead relatives. These are the daily incidents of our life. These are inseparable parts of our daily life. But we always think that the person who dies is a third person. It's not me who dies. It's not me who is going to be questioned on the day of resurrection. It's not me who is going to be responsible for the deeds and for the actions he commits. This is, of course, an introductory comment regarding death. I hope you will change your attitude towards that. I hope you will start preparing yourselves for the journey. We have been born to start a long journey, to jump onto a moving carriage, onto a moving train. Some of us get off at a station. Some of us embark. Some of us get on the moving train. As long as we have not got tired, we remain at the platform, we remain at the station. But as soon as we get tired, as we get weary, and as soon as our body does not tolerate any more remaining on the platform, then we embark on the train, and there is no doubt that we will reach the destination. Soon or late, we will reach the destination. The thing that we should note is that the death is a reality that we should accept and we should embrace, and we should be prepared for it. Now, brothers and sisters, this is a preface to the rules and to the issues which I'm going to elaborate and explain regarding death. When a person dies, of course, before he dies, there are certain rules that we need to observe. And when a person has died, there are certain rules and certain laws that we need to abide by. We need to take notice of. We need to understand them and to implement them. A dying person is a helpless person, and a dead person is a motionless person, a soulless person. He is not going to do anything. He is not going to change anything. He is not going to take any action. So, it is we as the living individuals, and it is we as the living people who should take the responsibility, who should do whatever we can to take care of a dying person, and then to discharge ourselves and relieve ourselves of the obligation after a dying person dies, actually. When it comes to the rules regarding a dying person, of course, we have to note that a dying person is a person with sadness and sorrow and agonies. We have to help him. If he is in darkness, we have to light the room. If he is alone, we have to sit by him. We should not leave a dying person alone, because he is already experiencing the pain and the agony. And if the relatives are by his side, he will forget some of his pains, and he will be comforted to some extent, of course. And if we are sure that a person is going to die, we should help him sleep with his back on the ground, and his toes should be in the direction of the Kaaba, the Qibla. He cannot sleep like that, but we have to help him. We have to put him with his back on the ground, and of course, with his toes towards the Qibla. This is one thing. And of course, when he is dying, we should try to help him recite the kalima, recite the shahadatain, the two testimonies. There are some verses that it is recommended for the relatives, for the friends, and for those who are sitting by the side of the dying person to recite. For example, it is recommended for the relatives to recite Ayatul Kursi. It is recommended for the dying person to recite the chapter Al-Ahzab, to recite the chapter As-Safat and Surah Yasin. These are the recommended verses. And of course, the last verses of Surah Al-Baqarah are recommended. And as long as the dying person has not died, it is recommended to recite these verses. And of course, the recitation of these verses and these surahs will produce their impacts, their effects on the dying person. But when a person dies, it is haram for the close relatives to wail, to scratch their faces, to pull off their hair. Of course, weeping, crying, is a natural reaction, it's a natural happening, a natural occurrence. But we are not allowed to wail, to cry so loud, and to utter words that are offensive, and to scratch our faces as some people, I have seen some people doing it. The ground religious authorities have strictly forbidden this. They have forbidden wailing and scratching your faces and pulling off your hair. Yes. It is recommended for other people to comfort those people who have lost a deceased relative, who have lost a dear relative. When a person has died, of course, insofar as he has not been washed ritually, and so far as he has not been given a bath, the position of the dead person should be in the same direction. I mean, he should be put on his back, and the toes should be in the direction of Qibla. But when the ritual bathing is finished, and when the dead body is made ready for the ritual prayer, for the obligatory prayer, then this obligation is no longer mandatory. It's no longer necessary for the people to put him with his back, of course, on the ground and his toes towards the Qibla. Of course, the position will change, and it is permissible to put him in any direction, As you have seen, of course, on your TVs, or maybe you have been to graveyards, you have seen that a dying person, when the ablution, when the ghusl is given, then it's not necessary to put him with his back on the ground and his toes towards the direction of Qibla. The ground religious authorities have mentioned in the epistles of Islamic laws and their treatises, or what is known as Risala, that it is, of course, makruh to put anything on the stomach of a dying person, to put some heavy object on his stomach or on his body, because he is already, the dying person is already feeling some weight, some heavy thing. And if you put something on his stomach, then of course it will even expedite his death. If he has not died, it is makruh to put anything on him. Dear brothers and sisters, there are certain rules and certain obligations that we need to take into consideration once a dying person has actually died. As I said, when someone dies and it is night, it is the night time, or maybe the room is dark, it is recommended that the lights are turned on and the room is made bright. It's recommended, not obligatory. But of course, more questions arise as to a dead body. You are living in a non-Muslim country and you find a dead body. Now the question is, Are you going to deal with that dead body as a Muslim or as a non-Muslim? There are many people asking questions. We have found a dead body, and we do not know actually whether the dead body belongs to a Muslim or a non-Muslim. What are we supposed to do? Should we treat that body as the dead body of a Muslim or that of a non-Muslim? Of course, the ground religious authorities have said that if a dead body is found in a Muslim country, that dead body is treated as the dead body of a Muslim. There is no doubt, because the majority in some Muslim countries, we have the 99% of people believing in Islam, so they are Muslims. So that dead body is considered to be the dead body of a Muslim. And of course, the rituals, the obligatory acts that are performed on a Muslim's dead body is performed on that unknown person, of course. But if such a dead body is found in a Muslim country, in a non-Muslim country, in a Christian, in a Jewish, or in a Hindu country, or a predominantly Hindu populated country, a predominantly Christian society, then that dead body is treated as the dead body of a non-Muslim, unless, of course, there are some indications, some signs which show that the dead body belongs to a Muslim. If those signs are there, if those indications are there, then of course you have to treat that dead body as Muslim. But if the indications are not there, then you cannot treat that as the dead body of a Muslim. Dear brothers and sisters, these are some of the rules and some of the, of course, Islamic laws related to a dying person. And this is the first session. Inshallah, the sessions will continue regarding the dead body. In the next session, we will further elaborate and we will further explain the remaining rules regarding a dead body, or the rules which follow after the death of a person. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.